Hello and welcome to Start Your Dungeons. I'm Bryce,
I'm Adam.
and today we're here to talk about HeroQuest First Light. Dun dun dun.
It is the new Target exclusive. Uh,
Target with the exclusives for gaming now, man.
yeah, they're starting to get a bunch of these.
Yeah.
Um, this is so like, if some of you haven't seen, like, there's my original Hero Quest. I've got a bunch of Hero Quest over here, like pop open another box, there's more Hero Quest. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, no, for sure. And this is a really interesting one to me. This feels like, you know, in my comparison, and this might have been, I can't remember if this was a Target exclusive or not at first, but this feels to me like what Jaws of the Lion was to Gloomhaven.
Yep.
Okay.
So, um, now, at least on its surface, that's
Right.
that's kind of what it is. With Jaws of the Lion, it's kind of a more simplified version of Gloomhaven, smaller
Yeah.
box, less
Easier
buy-in.
to get into for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, this is a new core set.
Interesting.
This
Okay.
is not stripped down. Like the thing that people are going to notice is that, like instead of having like we do have, character minis, there's your
Right.
dwarf. We got that, but your enemies are 2D pawns and
Oh,
your
yes.
furniture is now 2D tokens to put down on the board.
I'm disappointed. The 3D furniture is the best part about Hero Quest.
Yeah. As it should be.
Yeah.
But other than that, which cut down on the cost of production, I'm sure dramatically, um, this is the core set. It has a new quest book. So there's, new adventures in here. But if you had the app, if you had the
Mhm.
HeroQuest app, you could use this box to play the adventures from the original core set because it has the miniatures from that. You've got your dice, you've got your, oops, there's your standard dice right there with all your little faces on there.
Yep.
Um, it's got your cards, everything that you expect from the big Hero Quest set. It has it, but it's smaller, and some of it is 2D, but it's okay.
Right.
And there is a surprise with this one. So we've got our traditional HeroQuest board, but
Right.
this one's two-sided.
Ooh.
So the original HeroQuest does not have a two-sided board. This one does. And also the board for this one, the quote unquote original
Hmm.
board, you'll notice that it's cleaner than the
Yeah.
artwork for the other because the other was kind of grimy and the tiles were all broken everywhere. This one's supposed to, I think, represent the dungeon kind of before all the wear and tear.
Okay.
Um, so it's new artwork for it, but it's a two-sided dungeon or two-sided board. Anyway, but it's a core set. It's not a
Yeah.
starter. There's nothing stripped down. It's the same rule set, smaller.
So what are you losing from getting the big set? Because this is when did the big set come out? The new version that they
The
put
new
out.
one came out in 2021.
Okay, so this is, 4 years later.
Mhm.
Are they trying to give, because that bit, I mean, you kickstarted that, right? The
Well, it
originals.
was the Hasbro Pulse. It wasn't on
Ah,
Kickstarter.
right.
It was on Hasbro's
Thing.
Kickstarter thing.
Right.
And I did the Mythic tier, which came with it was like a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Um, and what you get are lots of miniatures, and you get 3D sculpted furniture, and it comes with all the little bits and bobs that you would need.
Mm,
Which was, you can say that, it wasn't exactly the same experience as getting the original box because the original
right.
box had some things were plastic sculpts, but they had cardboard inserts that made them three
Right.
dimensional. Like you had a little top for the bookcase, but then you had cardboard that would stick on there that make it look like a bookcase. Um, so it doesn't look exactly the same. The sculpts are weird, in some cases, and they had to
Yeah.
switch out the fearable or no, what was it called? Um, there was one with an F. It's going to hit me as soon as we stop playing. But it was one of the Games Workshop Femir. That's what it
Femur.
was. A
Yeah.
Femir. So that was the original.
They ain't
Uh,
done anything with femurs in so long anyway. They should not be offended if they
yeah,
did.
but I mean, they were kind of neat looking things.
Right.
Cyclops with a weird bird beak looking thing
Yeah.
and a big tail, and they switched them out for these fish dudes that they call abominations. Um,
The best thing is the gargoyle anyway.
Yeah, the best thing's a gargoyle. Which you get a two-dimensional gargoyle.
It should have been the only monster 3D. It was the most
Yeah.
important one.
Well, they do give you one monster that is a sculpt, and it's this dragon. And I'm not crazy about this dragon.
He looks very Minotaur-esque
He
from
does.
on it.
He looks more like yeah,
He looks like he's going jazz hands.
jazz hands. So I'm not crazy about him. I actually like the dragon that they did in the mythic tier box
Hmm.
that was like up on a plinth,
Right.
and I'm just going to use that one.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
there's
this
no
is
real assembly, no anything for that, really. I mean, that's a simplified, broken down thing.
it comes with a whole bag of your little standee holders.
That's worth its weight in gold right there.
Yeah. You've got your doors and everything. Like it, but it comes with everything. And I didn't have to assemble anything. I opened the box. I looked through the rules to make sure that
Yeah.
nothing had changed. And then my daughter and I were playing about 10 minutes later.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, in terms of getting into Hero Quest, I've always felt like Hero Quest is a pretty easy game,
Oh,
move, hit
it's
the
super
stuff.
simple.
Right.
This is the simplest of games. Like for your, like if you're attacking,
Mhm.
you're rolling your attack. You've got a certain number of attack dice. So like for the elf, you've got two attack dice. And if you roll skulls on them, it's a hit. If
Right.
you roll anything else, it's not. If you're defending, you want to get the lion shield. For the
Yeah.
monsters, whenever they're defending, they want to get the, evil skull, or in the old one, it looked like a little bunny. They don't look like bunnies
Symbol
anymore.
of immortal evil.
But it's super simple.
Right.
And, this is the kind of game that doesn't need to be complex. You
No.
just you're just, powering through the dungeon. This is not D&D.
Right.
This is simple. This is something for, like, it can be for children, but it can be for anybody, especially people who don't want to learn a whole bunch of rules. You just want to roll dice, you want to kill orcs.
Exactly. I mean, it makes it easy. In terms of like missions and stuff, you talked about it being different. So how many missions are in that actual box?
So, each one of the quest books, they come with, um I believe it's like all of them. They do 10 quests for
Hmm.
each one of these books. And each one of these, I just keep collecting more and more of these
Right.
quests. And they also provide you like a blank at the end where you can make your own quests.
Which was to fill
So,
every square with monsters.
and yeah, every square. I mean, that's what we used to do when I first got my first set, is we would just
Yeah.
make our own stuff. And sometimes you would just be a complete jerk, and but you would also pay out. You would give a whole
Right.
bunch of you would even give artifacts for, if you're going to be a jerk, you better give them an artifact.
Right. How long is it still pretty quick? I remember we played one night and I swear we played for an hour and a half and got like almost the entire quest book done. Like you
Yeah,
can
we
chug
we
through it.
ran through it. Um, I mean, it like, you just jump right in. If you
Right.
already know the rules of HeroQuest, you're just going.
Right.
Um, And
They
there's
still have the male and female versions in the First
not
Light.
in this one.
Okay.
So the only female sculpt was the elf, which I'm kind of glad that at least there was one of them
One,
in
right,
there. Um, but in the full set, you had a
right.
male and a female for each one. And they tried to do that with some of the special releases like the Ranger,
Yeah.
and some of these others that you would get a male and female sculpt of each. Now, not all of them come with a male and female sculpt, but a lot of them do.
Yeah. We've talked about, it's hard to talk about this game in some ways because it is really simple. Like it
Mhm.
really is, it's like, are there any cheat sheets in the box? You don't really need a cheat sheet. It's you're
No.
everything's on your card. You roll your dice,
Although
the game master screens.
it
Man,
does
I've
come with,
used,
and see, HeroQuest has always had a Dungeon Master screen.
yeah.
It's always been there, but um, I like this one a lot because it's kind of cleaned up,
hmm
very simple presentation. It's really good.
No, it also has some of the most like awesome art ever. So if you wanted to use it for other DM screens, like abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah,
It's
just
so nice.
just take sticky notes and stick on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about, is this a complete game? I feel like Hero Quest, in a way, like this is so interesting to me that they chose to literally say, "Hey, do you not want to buy? What's the retail of the big core box? Do you know?"
Um, I
I
believe it's. Oh, I'd have to look it
I
up.
think it's at least 120,
Yeah,
at
it's
least.
quite a bit, and this one's 50.
I think that's a good price for that.
And I mean, if it's being a Target exclusive, if you can wait until Target's doing one of those like
Board game sales.
those board game sales because they do them quite a bit. Especially if you have and I'm not plugging Target. All I'm saying is if you have like the Target app, you can
Uh,
usually get those things, like be watching it, watching it, watching it, and then
they'll
get on
mark some of
sale.
those games down, I mean, to $20. Like I'm talking like 60, $70 games for $20. Like
Yeah.
yeah, no. I think, and then so what's nice about that is if you like that, I mean, there's so much that's come out for the new version of it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like how many expansions are they up to now?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's like seven or eight. I mean,
I
it's
don't even know there were that many.
it's a bunch. And
And you
there's
can
there's
port
more
everything
coming.
from that game into the other one, right?
Yeah. And here's what I would say is if you already have the original or like the 2021 core
Yeah.
set, I mean, you like honestly, you don't need to buy this. If all you want to do is play this, you can use the HeroQuest app, and that's already in. Like this quest book is already in there, so you could just be playing this if you have that set. On the other side, if you have this set and you want to play the original quest book, then just use that for the app. This is the one time where I'm going to say that the app has a lot of use for people because it gives you more value for your purchase.
I was about to say, this is one of the few times, I mean, not to poo-poo on it too hard, but I cannot stand the Imperial Assault app. I
Yeah,
hate that thing. And
I
I
like
know
that
it's an
game. I don't
early
like that app.
one. Yeah, I know it's an early one, and I think they came out with like a redo of it, and it's still, and people love it. It's great for
Yeah,
solo play. It is. But, when an app does what you're saying, where it offers a bunch of free stuff as well, that's even better because a lot of that stuff is paid purchase protected
yeah,
on the Star Wars stuff.
yeah. The Hero Quest is like, yeah, you bought it, go ahead. And I mean, to me, that just means like you're gonna end up buying one of those sets. Like you're gonna
Right.
keep playing Hero Quest. If you really liked it enough to buy it the first time, you're probably gonna buy more.
Are you going to paint these?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've already got a full painted
Original
with
set.
the mythic tier set. I painted all of that.
Yeah.
And that's some of my like really good paint jobs. Like
Right.
on some of that, not to brag too much on myself, but I spent a lot of
It was some
time
of your
on
best
those.
work. It really
But
was.
there's only 5 miniatures, so I don't know if I really do want to paint them or if I just want to
Yeah.
leave them.
I mean, you could always have the kids paint them too. I'm sure
That's
Penny would
true.
love to.
That's
He's got
true.
that
I
whole
mean,
entire volume one of fantasy models to get through. So,
I like these better than the fantasy series one thing. Like this is actually a pretty good barbarian sculpt.
no, that's a good one. I like that
I'm
one.
I'm pretty happy with that. Like I
It's
don't
not your standard holding a weapon in both hands. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's kind of neat looking.
Yeah.
Um before I forget, I do want to say something that this set does that showed up and I'm just like, okay, this kind of justified you doing this set because in the quest book, they give you some like on page, it's like pages 6 and 7. They put a bunch of house rules in here.
Huh.
This is all stuff that, for people who follow the HeroQuest Facebook page, these are things that people have said that they do in their games, like things like the unthreatened movement. That's a rule where, like, if there's no monsters on the board, you can just move,
Right.
like, as long as you've got a clear line of sight kind of thing, it's no big deal. But as soon as a monster's on the board, you're going to have to roll for movement.
Yeah.
That's something I've always done.
Right. Just makes sense.
And they put it in there. They put one on here about the healing hearth, where I've heard of people saying, okay, whenever you get to the fireplace, you can heal. You can heal a body point of damage.
Yeah.
Little house rules that people have been doing for years and years and years. They stuck it in here.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also really happy because there's somewhere in the book where they they talk about how this could kind of be used as role playing, like
Right.
an actual role playing game.
Yeah.
There is a role playing game that is based on HeroQuest, and it's called Broadsword, and it's on like Drive Through
Bro sword.
RPG. Broadsword. Uh, if look up the old
We're gonna have to
HeroQuest
put that
commercial.
video as a link underneath
I
to that
will. I'll
the
throw that
guys
in there.
the best hero quest. That guys, if you ever need a pick me up, I watch that video like once a week. It's so
It's
good.
instant serotonin release.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's kind of easy to turn this into a full RPG,
Right.
a simple one, but a full RPG.
You
And
know what? This one actually, you know what I would say if people were interested in this, you know what this is really good for if you're looking for miniatures for a very specific role playing game.
was that
It's a good, it's a good Pathfinder 2e game.
sure?
Bunch of pawns, bunch of squares around. Like, yeah, you got to mess with the rooms a little bit in terms of what
Yeah,
happens, but like, that's a really good board and price for a bunch load of those. And then because they're standees, they're going to work with them if you ever buy the Pathfinder pawns.
yeah. I mean,
So.
it fit right in.
Yeah. No, I'm very impressed. Like Hero Quest to me is not a game that like I did not grow up playing it. So
Right.
like I don't have that nostalgia to it. But man, you want to talk about a great like beer and pretzels game where you
That's
just
that's
roll
what
it and
that is
go.
for adults.
Yeah.
Like if you want to just throw something on the table, and if you've got a group of people who already kind of know what they're doing, or at least, they can pick something up pretty
Yeah.
easily, that's what this game is. This is
Yeah.
not Gloomhaven.
No,
This is not this
thankfully.
is not Descent. This
Yeah.
is not the hardcore dungeon crawler.
Right.
This
But
is
it's a good intro.
it's a great intro, but this is a great game for just rolling dice and killing orcs. And if you
Right.
like those two things, you're down for a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So you already talked about it a little bit, we talked about box sets. This one you feel like there's value in it for new players especially. I think $50 buy at Target.
Yeah.
This is a great way to get into board gaming. If you want like a dungeon crawl game, this
Mhm.
one's excellent. But what about, you talk about with seasoned kind of people who play a lot of dungeon crawls. Do you think there's still value in a game like this for them? People who play more of a Gloomhaven or a Vagrant Song, to tell some of the few I love.
I'm going to say probably not. If you're
Yeah,
the hardcore dungeon crawler and you like those more complicated games, there's not enough meat on the bone for you.
right.
But that's okay. You know,
Yeah. There's not a lot to it, but in some
yeah,
ways its simpleness is its greatest strength in
Right.
that regard. You don't need a whole lot to remember. You don't have to go through the rule book and be like, all right, well, I have to discard a card now for my hand. Oh, I played the top side of this and the bottom side of this. And not to poo-poo Gloomhaven. I think Gloomhaven is a great game, but it is a mind reader of a game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um,
There's none of that here.
yeah.
You've got
uh,
you've got a couple of things like you've got so this is a character sheet, you know?
yeah. Barely anything.
You
Um,
know, you got your magic spells. You know, if you're the elf, you get threes. Like, okay, here's my three.
yeah, exactly.
You know, this game takes minutes to learn, and
Yeah.
you know, like the I think the best part about it is that you can get people to realize that they can use the furniture and the doorways
Hmm.
to to get some strategy.
Right.
Once people realize that it's not just I'm rolling the dice, I'm trying to hit. No, there is a strategy to putting yourself in specific positions and
Right.
using that board to your advantage, especially if you've got a wizard that has that staff and they can go
Yeah.
diagonally and nobody else can go diagonally. Um, there's a lot of fun in it. So it
Yeah.
does have the teeniest amount of complexity, but not enough
Right.
for it to be one of those hardcore games, you know.
Exactly.
It's not that.
So obviously you would keep playing based on this, Bob. I mean, you're a HeroQuest fanatic, but do you think let's rephrase that question. Do you think this box is a good entry to get people to get them to play more HeroQuest? Like, if you can buy this, will it probably push you to keep playing and get others?
100%. I think this is the best move that Hasbro has done in years
They needed a win too.
across their gaming. If if somebody is at Target, and I mean, I'm sure other stores are going to pick this up at some point
Yeah.
whenever this is no longer an exclusive, but other people are going to see this and they're going to say, "Oh, I wonder what this is," and they're going to grab it, especially if it, you see that it's like, well, maybe maybe I get this for my kids. This is this is going to be a big deal for
Right.
somebody to start playing a dungeon crawl. Um,
Exactly.
and because it's not expensive, they're actually going to play it, and
Right.
they're gonna buy it. There's so I mean with the regular core set, there's a barrier to entry that you don't
Hmm.
have here. So
Right.
I think they did right. I think this is one of their better decisions. And I don't typically buy Hasbro stuff other than HeroQuest. It's the only
Right.
exception that I'd really make.
That's fair.
But this is it. If people give this a chance, they're gonna like it.
Yep. And then when they love that, spend $30 more and get Vagrant Song, the greatest dungeon crawler of all time. Don't argue in the comments. It's a good one,
You're gonna
guys, if you
have
haven't
people
tried
like,
it.
that's not a dungeon crawler. It's like,
It's a boss battler,
well,
technically. I get that. But guys,
well,
it's really, really good.
that's a very it's a strange kind of in the middle of
Hmm.
genres kind of game.
Yeah, it's a
It's a lot
funky
of fun
one,
though.
but it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you guys have played HeroQuest First Light, let us know. If you're a fan of HeroQuest, tell us tell me what your favorite character is. That's what I want to know. There is a
Yeah.
correct answer, but you can tell me what your
Oh,
favorite is.
I've got my answer, but like, you know, there was one time we were doing local bar trivia. It was at Rook and Pawn,
Yeah.
and our team name was the elf is the best character in HeroQuest. Like that was our team name. And the guy running the trivia was like, "I'm gonna fight with you on that." Ended up
That
having a
is
long
amazing.
conversation about HeroQuest, which has probably never happened
He was
apart
like,
from this right here.
fine, heck yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, if you played, like you said, if you played Hero Quest, leave it down in the comments. Tell us your favorite character. Tell us if you're looking to pick up this set and why. I think, like you said, it's made me interested in picking it up just because it's a great collection thing to add to your collection, and it's cheaper. It's a little bit easier to get into. But yeah, I think it's a great one. Until next time, y'all take care.
Bye.